You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie, and I'm proud of the life I have, surrounded by military and aware just how big the world really is. I have a unique perspective on life and the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. All right, this is Jessie. How y'all doing out there today? You know, I miss you when we're not talking. I know, I say it all the time, but it's true. Now, couple things to mention before I get on with the show. Yes, I'm going to start the show, but we've got a new segment tonight, and I'm working on the intro music for it right now. Yes, if I can get my 6 into gear, there will be special intro music for my new segment, Good Guys with Guns. Now, not to put any law enforcement officer down, but this is focusing on those with concealed carry permits and legally owned firearms that use them to defend themselves. So that's where that segment's going. Now, some of the topics for tonight. We've got Turkey. Yeah, Turkey's actually been making some waves. I've got Iran. And what would a recent show be without North Korea? I'm working on getting an Operation Inherent Resolve update, but they have been few and far between. So, we've also got a little bit of House of Saud. So that will be a good thing. And I'm going to talk about Secretary Mattis's conversation with his counterpart in South Korea. Yes, there was a phone call. So, and I'm sure we'll bring up other topics as the world turns. I mean, there's always something. Not to mention, I am over in the chat room at KLRNRadio/chat, and you are more than welcome to join me there. And just as a reminder, I love my listeners. Whether you listen live or via podcast, I appreciate you, one and all. Although, I gotta tell you guys, sometimes the chat room people get something I don't put out on air. Yep, sometimes they have a little more information than you do. Alright. I am going to start this off with a clip from Nikki Haley about Iran. Because, well, it's been quite in the news lately. Now, this is a slightly older clip from before the UN Security Council meeting, and then I've got a clip or two from her speech at the UN Security Council.
All these brigades have come out to the streets. They've come out against the leader. Political prisoners must be freed. Independence, freedom, Iranian Republic. Neither Gaza nor Lebanon, my life only for Iran. Let go of Syria, think of us. We will die, but we'll take Iran back. Don't be afraid, we're all together. And in reference to the Supreme Leader, quote, feel some shame, let go of the country. Those are not my words. Those are not the words of the United States. Those are the words of the brave people of Iran.
All right, now the sound you've all been waiting for. Yes, show prep. And yes, I do actually, believe it or not, do about an hour and a half to 2 hours a day of show prep. I know some days it doesn't sound like it, but believe it or not, it does happen. And I know you're sitting there going, then why aren't your audio clips organized and this, that, and the other? Well, I can give you a real quick answer to that. Real quick answer. Because sometimes I am like a dog chasing a bone to get a story. And I don't stop with one news source on certain topics. I will chase that topic all the way until I'm satisfied I have the information I need to bring it to you and bring it to you properly. I don't like to cut corners. I don't like to do any other number of things. I like to have all my ducks in a row and everything quacking. At least with the stories. The last thing I do is my audio prep. And that's just kind of a inside baseball for you. The little inside baseball. That's why sometimes the audio clips aren't where I'd like them to be. But I'm more interested in getting the details. Alright, I'm going through my show prep here looking for something because I got mishmash of all kinds of stuff in this stack of prep. Some of it's for tonight, some of it's totally unrelated. Most of it's relevant. There's about 2 pages of irrelevant. Alright, let's start with what happened in Korea today. Notice I didn't say North Korea, I just said Korea. Because the 2 countries met. And that, my friend, is a good thing. Now, getting a team into the Olympics at this late date is not an easy thing. First of all, they have to have qualified in their sport over competitions over the past number of years and winning certain championships, and they have to have a certain status. However, North Korea has at least one ice dancing pair that has qualified and will be in attendance. Now, also coming with the ice dancing pair will obviously be coaches, trainers, and diplomats. And they're also sending some cultural people and all kinds of other things. Now, that's the surface results. I believe there's a lot more going on if you scratch beneath the surface. Okay? I believe a lot more is going on. Excuse me, Mr. Frog had to make his unwanted appearance. All right. Now, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right. North Korean negotiators have made a practice start of we win, you lose, deal making. This is not a casual thing. This is a practiced art form. And to think that they've lost their edge on that, I'm willing to bet they haven't. Now, on the surface, yes, they are negotiating to send a team to the Olympics. I'm all for that. Please do. And people are looking at me like, why? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, with his athletes or delegation or whatever you want to call it in attendance at the Olympics, Kim Jong-un is less likely to try and make a fool of himself and start shooting stuff off into the stratosphere. He's less likely to launch a rocket or a missile. He's less likely to cause a scene because his athletes are on the world stage. So I think that's one outstanding reason for us for the International Olympic Committee and for the United States in general to support a North Korean delegation coming to the Olympics. Because, quite frankly, it means we'll have less trouble out of him, at least for those few weeks. And that is a good thing, my friend. If the Olympics are supposed to be a unifying, peaceful situation, I don't know about you, but I look at it as it's not sacred ground, But it's time when the world needs to take a step back and put aside a bunch of crap and come together and focus on sports for a couple weeks. The rest of it will take care of itself for a couple weeks. No, I'm not saying stand down your armies. I'm just saying let's focus on something that's fun and positive for a few weeks. And I think that is the spirit behind the Olympic Games. Now, to that end, I am all for the North Korean delegation. But it was a pretty sudden surprise. They weren't coming. They let all the deadlines pass for registering their athletes. They let all the normal processes go by. Would you like to know why I think they did that? Because they'd make more headlines. Bingo, there's your answer. Now, I believe Pyongyang regards Seoul, or South Korea in general, as one of the weak links in the fight against it. There's a couple reasons why South Korea may be seen as the weakest ones. And here's why. One, the people look like each other. You can't tell a North Korean from a South Korean unless you're looking for malnutrition. But they look similar. They speak a similar language. No, I didn't say the same. Here's why. The South Korean language has evolved and grown. The North Korean language has kind of diverged just slightly from it. But they can still communicate with each other in their native tongue. So then you've got the president of South Korea, President Moon. And I hate to say this about another president, but he is South Korea's hope and changey President Obama. And I do not know how else to describe him succinctly in a sentence. He is the hope and change community organizer type leader that we had for 8 years. And you saw where we ended up. We are having to rebuild from nearly the ground up. Now, so you've got Moon, who's already agreed, and I still don't know why, and talked the United States Defense Department into postponing their annual exercises until after the Olympic Games. I can kind of understand it, but I also kind of don't. I think it's a good and bad thing. You have the South Korean president who thinks he can talk Kim Jong-un out of his nuclear weapons program. And they can, to use a phrase, hug it out. That everything will be okay if they just talk about it. Well, I got news.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
It doesn't work that way. You do not talk a demigod dictator out of anything unless he wants to be talked out of it. I also firmly believe North Korea is using the time between now and the Olympics for research and development. Their athletes are training, but their scientists are working triple time. Triple time. Why? Because they're still missing one key piece of the puzzle to launch a fully functional ICBM and what I believe is going to be a big payday for the country. they get that re-entry vehicle. They may never use it, but they are a known arms proliferation nation. All right, time to dig back in the archives and get that clip. You know I've got it. Yep, because guess what? North Korea has sold every single weapon system they have ever developed. Bar none. You heard me. Bar none. Now here's an oldie but a goodie about negotiations with North Korea. I'm digging up a few. You know I got a stash. I mean, come on. You've heard a lot of these before if you're a regular listener.
Furthermore, as U.S.
Okay, that was not the clip I wanted.
The only thing I only have 2 points to make here. One is we had better insist that the outcome of the negotiations continue to be, for us, a non-nuclear weapon state. We cannot legitimize North Korean nuclear weapons by having an objective, the current program. A freeze could be a good interim step, but it can't be the end game. The second thing is I can't imagine us addressing the North Korean concern, why it has nuclear weapons to deter regime change by the United States of America. I can't imagine addressing that concern without a normal relationship between North Korea and the United States, and I can't imagine a normal relationship unless they improve their human rights record in a dramatic way. This will not be easy, but that's the only way I can see it.
All right, and just to remind you, North Korea has sold both weapons and the building blocks for them previously.
10 years ago, the North Koreans transferred a plutonium production reactor to Syria. It was crushed by the Israelis. If it had not been crushed, that reactor could be providing plutonium not only to Syrians, but to others who have traipsed through Syria, and these are pretty unsavory folks. And that's an image that goes to nuclear terrorism we don't like to contemplate. So we need to somehow impress upon the North Koreans that's not a move we want to see again.
Now, I fully believe North Korea has already received a promise from Iran, because remember, Iran has to go under the Iran nuclear deal. They cannot develop nuclear weapons right now. They can't research them, they can't develop them, they can't test them. So, Iran pulls out that plane load of cash that Obama sent in there and says, we'll give you 2 or 3 pallets of this cash. You keep developing the weapons. When you're done, we'll send you 5 or 6 more pallets. Untraceable, hard currency, sent into Iran that I have no doubt. I have no proof, concrete proof, but I have no doubt in my mind a large chunk of it was transferred to Pyongyang. Now, we are coming up on the commercial break. We will be discussing the Iranian protests, the scuffle in Turkey, and the House of Saud on the other side of the break. And introducing our new segment, Good Guys with Guns. And yes, if you're looking at your clock, I've already blown past the commercial break, but I'm trying to do it at 30 minutes on the show clock so that it sounds right for everybody who listens via Memorex. Yes, I also have the Good Guys with Guns segment coming up tonight, maybe even with its special bumper, assuming I can get that sorted while we pay those radio station bills. Now, let's see. What? I'm looking for some good bumper music tonight. I didn't prep anything special. Let's see, what can I find? We got a whole library here. I have no idea what this is, but it's got a title that caught my attention. So that's what we're running with. All right, folks, I will see you on the other side.
So you're going to tell me that you don't have no black cats, no Roman candles, or screaming Mimis?
No.
Oh, come on, man. You don't got no lady fingers, buzz buttles, snicker bombs, church burners, finger blasters, gut busters, zippity doo-dahs, or crap flappers?
No, I don't.
You're going to stand there owning a fireworks stand and tell me you don't have no whistling bungholes, no spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, hoosker do's, hoosker don'ts, cherry bombs, nipsy daisers, with or without the scooter stick, or one single whistling kitty chaser?
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, Think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country needing you right now, but I don't wanna.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me over that commercial break. Yes, gotta pay those radio station bills. All right. We are going to delve into Iran. Yes, Iran and North Korea are connected. I've discussed that enough for one night. Let's talk Iran proper. You all know the protests in Iran have been going on hot and heavy. And if you don't know, are you living under a rock? Now, Iran claims to have foiled a plot to overthrow the government by using the protests. Oh yeah. Meanwhile, the Iranian demonstrations are in large part due to price hikes in Tehran. People are demonstrating so they can buy food for their families. And yet, hundreds of thousands of them are being arrested. Now, let me find the story that quotes the numbers. All right, here we go. 3,700 Iranian protesters were arrested. Let me repeat that number. 3,700 Iranian protesters were arrested. And this number comes from a reformist member of parliament. And he put something out on his Telegram social media account, but he did not give the actual source. Now, of course, Iranian officials are saying that only a few hundred have been arrested. Now, the protests spread far and wide, and many of the protesters are calling to an end to the theocracy that has ruled Iran since the 1979 Iranian Revolution, or Islamic Revolution. Official accounts put the number of dead at only 21. You buying it? Because I'm not. I'm thinking there's something else here. Now, in 2009, the Iranians attempted a protest. It didn't spread as far as wide, but here was the international response. Yep, nothing. This time, the international response has been much stronger. Here's a clip from Nikki Haley from, I believe it was yesterday's UN Security Council meeting.
The Iranian regime is cutting off internet access in an attempt to shut down communication among the protesters. They are attempting to silence the voice of the Iranian people. We cannot allow that to happen. Every UN member state is sovereign, but member states cannot use sovereignty as a shield when they categorically deny their people human rights and fundamental freedoms.
Now, that's not to say the internet is a human right or a fundamental freedom. What I believe Nikki Haley was getting out there was that the real short version is they're trying to stifle the Iranian people's right to protest. Now, the protests did start peacefully, but not all of them stayed that way. Of course, the Iranian authorities have a control that is on media inside and out, coming out of their country, that is second only to that of North Korea. Okay? Now, Iran does have a bail system. Would you like to know how many people out of 3,700 have been allowed bail? You ready? 70. 70 out of 3,700. And they waited outside Evin prison. You have heard my descriptions of Evin prison before. There is no need to repeat them. Let's just sum it up to say it is a place you do not want to be. Not for any reason. All right. Going back through the show prep. While I'm thumbing through my show prep, I do have Iran watches us to prove it. This is the UN Iranian representative to the United Nations.
One U.S. resident took to social media to order the killing of 120 members of our security forces, threatening that those who will be included among the killed are their families too, in their homes. This same U.S. resident publicly stated to U.S. media with complete sense of impunity that they should burn down government mosques and police stations.
All right. So one American citizen spouts off, and Iran takes note of one. Womp womp. All right. I am trying to watch the clock while I get through all this because, boy, do I still have a lot on my plate. Turkey has been doing some rather mischievous things. They've declared a curfew. They've renamed streets. What is going on in Turkey is, well, Turkey, let's just put it bluntly, is what I call a frenemy. Yes, we have a military base there, but they are not the best partners. They have been cracking down on all kinds of things. Erdogan is tired of the, quote, sluggish European Union membership process, which is why Turkey got rid of its death penalty. The EU does not allow, the European Union does not allow countries in that have the death penalties. However, the suggestion looks like it's going to come back as a partnership, not membership, but it may lead to further things down the line. And by the way, the Turkey's defense industry has been taken over by none other than the presidential administration. Yep, Erdogan now controls Turkey's defense industry. Yeah, I can tell you that one didn't make the news. Now, there was a coup officer that was granted asylum in Greece, and this caused a major kerfluffle in Turkey. Because do you remember how many thousands were arrested? All right. A group of Turkish soldiers fled to Greece after Turkey's abortive coup in 2016. 7 of the 8 men applied for asylum and were rejected. They have been kept in preventative custody. The return of the 8 Turkish officials to Turkey is something that Greece has mostly ruled out. However, they are considering extraditing them to a third country. What they're doing is turning the process over to the Greek courts. The Greek courts get to decide if they get refugee status or not. If they get refugee status, they will have the same rights as those identified as refugees by the 1951 Geneva Conventions. Now, the Greek courts have blocked 2 extradition requests by Turkish authorities, which, of course, Turkey said didn't like. I mean, come on, flat out, they didn't like it. Now, just for the record, friends, Greece and Turkey are not friends. They aren't even frenemies. They are flat out hateful toward each other. So, what's going on in Turkey? Well, Erdogan's tired of waiting on the EU to decide. However, the U.S. has reinstated full visa service for Turkish nationals. Yep. What that means is Turkish citizens can now go to the U.S. Embassy in Turkey and apply for a visa that's been blocked for about 3 months. Oh, and as if things weren't bad enough. Okay? As if things weren't bad enough, Turkey decided to rename some streets because they were trying to irritate the United Arab Emirates. So, the street used to be 613th Street. Nice generic name. A numbered street. They wanted to annoy the UAE. I don't know why. It was a calculated message. They renamed the street on which the country's embassy stands after an Ottoman military commander accused by the UAE minister of pillaging the holy city of Medina. Can we say poking the bear? I mean, you guys don't have enough going on, so you have to pick fights on top of it? Really? All right. As I have not done this segment before, I am going to play the intro. I haven't decided if this is going to be the final intro for this segment or not. But I'm going to get this in before I go too much longer on the show because I am coming to the end of my show. Got about 10 minutes left. So we'll play this and see what you think.
I never fired a shot to harm one soul. Self-defense is my number one goal. To the politicians, don't be so stupid. I'm keeping my arms to protect my kids. None of the gun laws ever stop the criminal. More CCPs will keep crime minimal.
Yep, that is the intro, at least right for tonight, for my Good Guys with Guns segment. Now, let me just find the article, and I do have it printed. It just seemed to get lost in my shuffling here. Oh, come on, I'm not looking for Norco. The number of North Korean news articles on my desk alone would startle you. Startles me at times. Where did the article go? Here we go. I found it. All right. Pharmacy owner defends his life against pharmacy thieves by shooting them. Days ago, a pharmacy owner in Ohio used his firearm to defend himself and his pharmacy against a group of robbers. A few shots were all it took to wound one of the thieves and send the rest running like a bunch of cockroaches, preventing what could have easily turned into a life-threatening scenario. Police Lieutenant Richard Edwards stated that 3 men wearing dark clothing with their faces covered, so don't tell me they were there for anything good, they got their faces covered, walked into the store and immediately began their heist. 2 of the robbers jumped over the pharmacy counter and instructed the pharmacy owner not to move as they started to pull plastic bags out of their pocket. It was then that the pharmacy owner decided to take matters into his own hands, grabbing his 9mm gun and opening fire on all 3 criminals. Several shots were fired, 2 of which hit one of the robbers in the arm and chest. The remainder of the assailants ran outside and drove away, scared for their lives. Now, you didn't hear that on the news. Come on, you can't tell me you did. But all this and the gun laws only make it harder for law-abiding citizens to defend themselves. Now, let's see how much time we got. We got 6 minutes, so I like that. I'm going to play that music for you again, and then we're going to talk about the House of Saud.
I never fired a shot to harm one soul. Self-defense is my number one goal. To the politicians, don't be so stupid. I'm keeping my arms to protect my kids. None of the gun laws ever stop the criminal. More CCPs will keep crime minimal.
All right. Now, back on to the House of Saud. Oh no, that fracas in Saudi Arabia is not over. You just haven't heard about it, but trust me. The House of Saud, or the royal family in Saudi Arabia, call them what you will. They're a family at war with themselves. They really are. All right. So, why do I say this? Well, how many times? You have 32-year-old Crown Prince bin Mohammed bin Salman, who has consolidated power quickly like no other. Remember, he turned the Ritz-Carlton into a 5-star prison? And why is he doing this? All right. He says it's to fight corruption. Well, unfortunately, depends on your definition of corruption. If you mean stopping terrorism, I'm behind him. Because analyst after analyst have determined that the funding for not only 9/11, yes, our very own 9/11, but for many other strands of Islamic extremism such as Al-Qaeda and Daesh can be traced back to Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Saudi funds have bought hundreds of millions of dollars in arms in recent years. And money from official export licenses to Saudi Arabia have been diverted. So the Saudi funds have bought hundreds of millions of dollars in arms in recent years that, with official export licenses to Saudi Arabia, have been diverted into Jordan and Syria. There's been suggestions made that from the outset, the jihad in the widest missionary sense was rooted in the makeup of the Saudi state. And, of course, there's the oil. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia largely depends on oil revenue to support its coffers. However, oil revenue has been down. It's one of the same things hurting Russia. Now, because of oil revenue being down, the kingdom has roughly doubled oil prices and began a 5% tax on most goods and services, including food and utility bills. We're used to paying sales tax. Evidently, they're not. Also, evidently, the Saudi royal family is, well, let's face it, huge. And their wealth and position vary wildly. But 11 princes decide to stage a protest at the king's palace. And, well, they were arrested. All right, I am just about out of time. So I am going to see you folks tomorrow night on Jesse's POV. And in the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter at Jesse's POV, although I'm really considering changing that. And you can email me at the station at jessespov@klrnradio.com. And on that note, friends, I'm gone.